Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Spirit Island Jagged Earth. Now, I know what you're thinking. What am I looking at? Why am I looking at this Steam Store page? Well, it's important to know what you're getting into before you actually pick up this game. First of all, Spirit Island is the core game, and you will need Spirit Island, the core game, in order to play Jagged Earth, which is a DLC for this. In fact, this particular game has a number of DLC. If we check down here, there's Jagged Earth for 20 bucks, which just released. There's Branch and Claw, Horizons of Spirit Island, Promo Pack 1, soundtracks. So there's a lot of different content for this game. And this game is actually based off of an actual physical board game. The physical board game has more stuff released for it, but it looks like the digital version may be slowly catching up. People have asked for more digital expansions so that it's in line with the board game, but the developers on the forums, they're not really committed one way or another. They're like, if it's beneficial to do so, they say, we'll go ahead and release more digital expansions so that, you can enjoy the digital game just like you would the board game. Because, again, the board game has more expansions for it than this digital adaptation does. But this digital adaptation is much cheaper. So we are here to take a look at Jagged Earth. Jagged Earth is a major expansion, whereas like Tooth and Claw, those are smaller expansions. It's important to note real quick that the game is priced at $20 right now, but the price will go up. I know what you're saying. Well, it's not early access, so why is the price going to go up for this? Well, that's because they have not released the entire Jagged Earth content yet. Like there's more content that's supposed to be in here but isn't, and I'm guessing maybe they were forced to release this early. I don't know what the deal is, but as it stands, Jagged Earth is currently at a 20% discount from its final regular price, expected to be $25. As more content is added, the price will increase until the DLC is complete at its full price. And currently, this is what Jagged Earth includes. You've got 2 spirits, Stone's Unyielding Defiance, and Vengeance as a Burning Plague. Yeah, they sound cool already, right? There's also an adversary. There are 57 new major and minor power cards, 30 new event cards. There's 2 new double-sided island boards, E and F, and their thematic sides, 6 new fear cards and 7 new blight cards, and more content to come. Now, down the line, it says here, further content will be released in 8 phases, okay? Contents in order subject to change based on development. No further purchases will be required. Whenever you buy this now, all of this stuff will be available to you for free as it gets released. So these are the different spirits that will be released over time. The teeming host arrives, visions of shifting future, home of the island's heart, explosive eruption, lost in the swirling haze, observe the ever-changing world, let's see what happens, and growth begets growth. These are like both a combination of spirits and scenarios and different things like that. So, for example, let's see what happens is a pack that includes this spirit, Grinning Trickster that stirs up trouble, and a play option combining 2 adversaries. This Home of the Island's Heart here has the spirit Lore of the Deep Wilderness, and that has the scenario The Great River. So, over time, all of this content will be released. Is what they're saying here. So it's Jagged Earth is not 100% complete right now. It's just worth mentioning that if you buy this DLC and you're like, wait a minute, I've played the board game, where's all of my other stuff? Well, it's coming. So I'm not going to play a game today because I've already covered this game on my channel. So if you want to see how the game is actually played, go check out one of my other videos. This video is just a strictly look at the 2 new spirits that you get with this DLC. And if you want to cheat a little bit, these spirits are based off of the actual tabletop game. And I'm sure there's a wiki out there that has all of the unreleased digital spirits. Because again, they're in the board game already. So you could go to a wiki and look up these spirits yourself to see what you're getting into. And if there's a demand for it, I'll be happy to release such a video and show them off anyway. So we'll look at Vengeance as a Burning Plague. That's one of the 2 spirits that are currently released. Complexity is a bit high. If you're new to this game, you may want to take a look at Horizons, the DLC Horizons first. They include a lot of entry-level spirits that will help you get acclimated to the game. This one, Jagged Earth, is a bit more complicated. It's a bit more complex. So, according to this, the setup, one of your influence token things start the game already destroyed. Put 2 of them on your starting board, 1 in a land with corruption, 1 in a wetland without the natives. Yeah, that's what that little hut thing is. I think they're called the Dahan. Yeah. Playstyle, not so powerful early, but can be a late game juggernaut, especially if things are going badly. Corruption adds to its damage, and its influence being destroyed adds whatever that symbol is. I'm not sure what that symbol is. It's probably just some kind of symbol that is used somewhere else in other effects. It may even want to engineer these situations, which can make other spirits nervous and be risky if things go poorly. So it's a high risk kind of spirit. Faces a variety of trade-offs, which innate to focus on, and whether to use that particular symbol to stop builds versus keeping it on the board for fear or power use. As you can see down here, summary of powers, it's just all offense. It's a high risk, high reward offensive spirit. And if we take a look at the other side, we can see its presence. This is sort of like its progression track, as you can remove these tokens from the mat here and add them to the board to give yourself more bonuses. But yeah, so it gets energy per turn, card plays like the other ones do. But yeah, it's growth, pick one. These are the actions that you can take. You pick one of these 3 things to do, and then you do them in order. So reclaim cards, gain power cards, gain 1 entry. That's all one action. Add a presence to a land with a town, city, or blight. Same thing there. It's within 2 spaces. And then this is gain a power card, add a presence or a disease. Oh, interesting. That's what that is. Or gain 1 energy. So down here on the bottom left, Vengeance is a Burning Plague. Special rules. The terror of a slowly unfolding plague. As I mentioned, that symbol was probably some kind of thing to be used in an effect of some kind. When disease would prevent a build on a board with your influence, you may let the build happen, removing no disease. If you do, gain a fear. Lingering pestilence. When your influence is destroyed by anything except a spirit action, add 1 disease where each destroyed influence was. Wreak vengeance for the land's corruption. Your actions treat corruption on the island as also being whatever that symbol is. One thing I would love is a mouse over tooltip. It probably means something, but I'm not sure what. And then on the right-hand side, innate powers. All of these different spirits have different powers based on your card plays. Your cards have symbols on them. If you play the appropriate cards with these symbols, you can activate these abilities. And you can activate these ones during like the first part of the round, and these turtle ones the second part of the round. Pretty much, as you can see, it gives damage per disease token out there. So the more risky you are in putting these things down, the more damage you can potentially do. So again, high risk, high reward in terms of that spirit. And then the other one, we'll go ahead and flip it to the other side. Stone's Unyielding Defiance. Okay, so during setup, put 2 influence on your starting board. 1 in the lowest numbered mountain without Dahan in it, and 1 in an adjacent land that has a corruption if possible, or a sands if not. Playstyle. Most of its special rules and innates require being where the invaders are, particularly in the worst, most overrun lands, so it can mitigate incoming corruption and eventually destroy the invaders with their own ravages. Does best with the patience to build up position over time and the temperance to hold some energy in reserve so it can take advantage of hold the island fast with a bulwark of will. Complexity is moderate, and as you can see, it's got a mix of defense and offense with a little bit of control and utility. But again, this thing is all about the defense. It's there to protect land and then do damage in return, which isn't bad. We flip it over to the other side in the upper right-hand corner. Again, the same presence tracks, energy per turn, card plays. Some of the other spirits have a slightly different track, so that's why I mentioned that. And then, of course, your growths up here. Again, these are the actions that you can choose between. Bottom left-hand corner, special rules. Bestow the endurance of bedrock. When corruption is added to one of your lands, unless the corruption then outnumbers your influence, it does not cascade or destroy influence yours or others. So that's amazing. It's like a shield of some kind. It's really good. Typically, bad things happen when invaders overrun a position and add corruption. That corruption will typically destroy your influence as well, and it looks like the stone's Unyielding Defiance spirit helps to prevent that. Also, deep layers exposed to the surface ability. The first time you uncover each of your +1 card play influence spaces, gain a minor power. They're marked with a special symbol as a reminder. So the minor powers are cards. There's minor powers and major power cards, and you just get a free card every time you unlock one of these, which is kind of cool. I like that. This +1 card play per turn, +1 card play per turn, +1 card play per turn over here. So that's really cool. I like that. And then on the very bottom right, the innate powers. Again, by playing certain cards, you can activate abilities, assuming you play cards with the matching symbols. Taking a look, they seem to be a bit more complicated than the other spirit. When corruption is added to one of your lands, you may pay 2 energy per corruption to take it from the box instead of the blight card. And that's important because the blight card only has so much corruption on it, and if that goes away, all goes away and you lose. So like you need to keep corruption stocked, but you can take this from the box instead, which is kind of cool. So it keeps that timer from ticking down. The cost is 1 energy instead of 2, and when an event or blight card directly destroys influence, yours or others, you may prevent any number of influence from being destroyed by paying 1 energy each. So this guy loves to hoard energy and then use it to basically stop bad things from happening. On the right, again, if you have the correct symbols on your cards, 3 of those gray ones, for example, after invaders deal 1 or more damage to a target land due to damage. Also, with 5 of that symbol, also add half of the damage invaders did to the land, rounding down. And then finally, repeat this power. So, yeah, interesting. I have yet to play as them, so this is just more of an informational video than an actual review. But first impressions of these spirits are good. I love this game because of its variety. Each spirit really plays differently than the other ones. So, like, every time you play this, your strategies are going to change. One spirit that I played, like, is all about fear. I love, just causing fear. This is a high utility one, but there are ones out here that just spread fear everywhere. And the more spread you fear, or the more fear that you spread, the more bonuses you get and the more debuffs the enemy gets, the invaders. So I like this one here, Eyes Watch from the Trees. It's all about the fear with this one. So I love how each spirit plays differently. They just take some getting used to. So like when you go to jump into a new spirit, it's not like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. No, you're gonna need some time to get used to that particular spirit and how it plays out. And again, there's multiplayer, so you can play with other people as well, which is kind of nice. For those of you that want to see the options menu real quick, that's what that is. Just pause if you want to see that in greater detail. So yeah, I mean, again, Spirit Island as a whole is a fantastic game. The digital version of this makes it more accessible because the board game Jagged Earth, I think, was like $50-$60, and it still may be, I don't know. But Spirit Island and its expansions tend to be super expensive. So that's a shame because this is a fantastic game. The digital version makes this much more accessible. And again, you can play with one spirit. If you want to play with one spirit, you can do that. You can play with multiple spirits, and you can even make this easier if you want to. These are your play options. So you can reduce difficulty settings here. You can include expansions in certain events if you want to. If it's your first time playing, highly recommend, don't play with an adversary. Adversaries make the game harder. But I would I would put this on like difficulty 0, reduce difficulty, and just add all of that here, just so that you can get used to the game more easily. So anyway, that was Spirit Island and its expansion, Jagged Earth. I do recommend this before it does increase in price. It's pretty much 20-25% off at this point, so there's no reason not to get it. If you plan to buy this anyway at some point, just be patient and wait for those expansions, at least the release of the additional content that this particular expansion promises. Well, this is Vince. Thanks for watching. I will catch you all next time. Take care.